Alright, so this is a bit of an overview of what sort of different night gear you can rig up your helicopter with. First of all, we have a night string. So this is on a T-Rex 450. I've taken one set of string. Taken one set of string and I've wrapped it all the way around the boom. This is on a 450. It ends there, and basically wrap the lead around a bit. You only got 1 meter length, so you're gonna make the most of it. And I have my end sticking out here from the canopy, so I've got a clear canopy with this one. Basically, where's the start? It starts just in there, and I've basically wrapped around an outer ring and then just crisscrossed over and done an inner ring for that one. Now the clear canopy works pretty well, otherwise you want to try and get a plain white one, but if in any case you'll generally see the night string for it, regardless of what paint your canopy's got on it. So how bright is this stuff? Not too bright, but it works. So you have an aligned glow driver. This takes 2S or 3S. All the plugs come with plugs on it. You see the little battery. This little 120 milliamp here, little Hyperion, works like a champ. So you see that? Yeah. Now, so in addition to the 450, you need to have night blades. So at the very least you want 2 meters of night string, powered by 1 glow driver and a little battery, and then your night blades. So for the 450, the only brands that you can really get is MS Composites and Align for this size. The Align ones, they're pretty cheap, about $50 a set. It's got 2 LEDs there on the top, well, one goes through for both sides, and you got another one for the underneath there. So these little nifty pins. Is it focusing? There. And when you plug the pins in, the LEDs light up. Now they don't look too bright, but on a dark night the whole thing seems to be pretty well balanced. The brightness of these LEDs is roughly the same as the glow string, so it all looks nice and even. Now you can progress from this to LEDs. I've got 1 meter string here and another meter strip here. Now this stuff, you can peel and stick, and then basically stick it on around your boom or on a canopy or whatever. These you run off a 3S directly, so you'll see that with these the Turnigy strips at least. You get 2 wires. 1 wire needs to mash up with black is white in this case. That's pretty bright, isn't it? Now that's much brighter, and it's very easy to drain out the night blades if they're not able to keep up with that, and it looks kind of crap. So what you can do in these cases is run them off a 2S. So that was 3S I was just running it off, and now I'll plug this into a 2S battery. Whoa. Don't want to do that. Yeah, much more weak source. But that would probably be about right. Now you can step down a 3S in increments to get the desired thing. Now these are just LEDs on there too. Each of these LEDs are set up in banks of 12 volts. So if you really were keen, you can even solder them off this board and solder them onto something else and give see, one side's marked positive, the other side's marked negative. And what you can do is, when you get fancy with those little LEDs, you can then make your own night blades. So what I've got here is a Radix homemade night blade. This is using the Zero Gear kit. What you get is you get some rolls of copper tape. You get a roll of that, and you mark out where you're going to have your runs. So from the root of the blade, I've got a little MCX battery strapped underneath there and stuck there with a little wire and plug. We have the wire soldering to the copper strips. Your positive run comes along here, and then basically each of the LEDs, so that has been, these are just various colours. They've been soldered off and they sort of meet the joints for the positive and negative. So I've got one LED on the bottom here, one on the tip here, and one closer to the tip on the top. And the end result of this is when you plug it in. Very nice. A nice bright white one. And blue. So on the other one, you can see on this one, I've got two LEDs on that side, one on the other, and similarly on the other blade I've got this white LED on the top, so you can see that outer ring upwards and inverted as well. So that takes a bit of time to put together, because you got to obviously cut all the length of the strips together, then solder all the joints together, then piss fart around with the LEDs, soldering them off, and doing all that sort of thing. Now, the coolest, you've also, before I jump too far, you've also got tail blades. Now there's only a few brands that make these again, MS Composite, and then you've also got the torsion blades. These particular torsion ones have two blue LEDs, but they can come in different colours, such as red and green and stuff. And similarly with the night blades, you put a little pin in, there's a little lithium ion battery inside there that charges them up, and yeah, you just charge them up with a charge lead, and plug in your pin when you want to go fly them. Now remember these are lithium ion in most of these, so you don't want to use a normal lipo charger. It's a bit too overkill for them. Now this is what I think is the coolest part of it. It's what we have is comprised of a few parts here. First you got the strip of LEDs. Now these are a bit bigger than your average LED. They've got four bits of copper there. We've got an RGB, and then your negative or your positive, whatever it is. And these LEDs are a bit bigger. It's a bit more complicated. So this strip of LEDs, and then it has some wires hanging off at one end, and then what you also get is 3 controllers with little heat sinks there. So yay big, a bit fat, but they're all together as one glob. So I've just temporarily wrapped the wires together and stucky taped them. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but it's all together. So I've connected the 4 different wires corresponding to the coloured strips here. Then you have these 3 wires with a negative in a signal one, and these will run into a receiver or a wire lead. So in this case I've got a little Spectrum receiver here. I've got a rudder aileron and elevator plugged into those 3 channels, and then for the sake of just powering it with 6 volts rather than something else directly, I've got a little dirty speedy here, a little 10 amp one just to power it. So obviously you have this receiver bound to a model. Alright, we'll just turn it upside down for demonstration purposes. Get this one out of the way. So what I want to do is firstly grab a battery to power up the speedy. The receiver even. I didn't want to bind that. Plug you in again. Alright, we're lit up. It's connected. And then now I power up this magical device. So now, I don't know if you can see from here, but they're flashing red very, very faintly. What this is now looking for is a 0 signal. So with the transmitter I've got for each of my channels, if I can just move this all together in a nice little frame. So I need to go basically to 0 for each of the 3 channels before it'll initialize, before use. So if I go left rudder, oh there we go, Now it's gone green, you might have not seen. So I've initiated the elevator channel, and you'll see now I've got the R, red, is now allocated to elevator. So if I push my rudder to the right, there we go, it's flashing red and then initializes green, which means I've also now got another color of axis assigned to my rudder stick. So between this I've got red and blue on this, so I can just mix those two together. And you can see I've got purple, blue, red, and the other, I've got one more channel still flashing, the middle one. I've got that's assigned to my collective. So I've got to, or it's aileron? No, aileron. So hold the way right, and now I've got that factored in as well. So now I can, using the 3 sticks, I can cycle through any color in the rainbow. So when the thing lights up red, it's telling you that you're at 100%, and when it's green, you're at 0% of that given channel. And yeah, you can have a lot of fun for hours with this. I'm also going to turn off the lights, just to make it a bit more effect. So yeah, fly with a friend and have him stir the sticks for you, or hook these up to wire leads to your receiver and have, say, if I was just flying around, you know, when you're doing TikToks, you'll see that sort of colour as a mode 1er. Elevator TikToks would be flashing between those colours. Yeah, and just play with the whole spectrum. Now, with this actual kit, what you get in it is the LEDs, is the controller, and you get another strip of multicolour LEDs and some wire, this thick wire. Now the idea is you can pretty much rig up with this equipment. There's pretty much, it's probably enough to rig up a 90. You also get another strip in a bag, and the idea is, you know, you say you could do one for your tail and one for your canopy, and what I think the idea is, if you want the colours to be different between the two, you just swap, say, R and G between the two strips when you solder them together with your wire to connect them. That looks very good. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see so closely, but we've actually got 3 separate LEDs for RGB in there, and each one is individually controlled by the sticks. So I hope to rig up one of my helis with this gear next week, and then in the coming weekend, and it will be most awesome. And that'll do.